Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes the Fate's final moment before the Guardians, Despicable Annecy, The Young Nun, The Strong Future of Disney, Mad Madonna, Mel Comes Back, He'll Have an Old Friend for Dinner, ending 2019 at Castle Grayskull, From a Candelabra to a Grown-Up, and Shyamalan's biggest twist. So with that said, let's get things started. Unlike Beauty and the Beast, Emma Watson's star power is really not much to get her on top this time. The new movies this week were not strong enough to take over the Fate and the Furious throne at the box office during the weekend, where the big franchise movie remains in first place for the third week before the arrival of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with more than $19 million. But even if the new films didn't get the gold, they still were very strong for what they are. With only a little more than 1,000 theaters presenting it, How to Be a Latin Lover got itself in second place with about $12 million, and the Indian film Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, earned about $10 million by only appearing in 425 theaters. The only new film that wasn't impressive this week was the all-star cast of The Circle, where it only landed in fourth with just more than $9 million. Following from behind includes The Boss Baby with about $9 million, Beauty and the Beast with more than $6 million, and Going in Style with about $3.5 million. It's that time of year again for France to get a lot more animated. The Annecy International Animation Film Festival announced this year's lineup, which includes a good mix of independent and major studios' animated features. The biggest one that will make an appearance will be the world premiere of Despicable Me 3, which continues the franchise's tradition of premiering at the festival. Pixar will also be making an appearance where it will have the French premiere of Cars 3 and presents the short Lou along with clips of Coco. There will also be clips of animated films that are currently in progress, including Kung Fu Space Punch from the Book of Life director Jorge Gutierrez, The Big Bad Fox and Other Tales from one of the directors of Ernest and Celestine, and The Breadwinner from one of the directors of The Secret of Kells. The festival will be going on at Annecy from June 12th to the 17th. That old bag of evil bones had to be a young lady at one point. Thaisa Farmiga has signed on to appear in the Conjuring spin-off The Nun. The movie takes a look into a priest named Father Burke who is sent to Rome to investigate the mysterious death of a nun. Farmiga will be taking on the role of the nun when she was younger. Coincidentally, Thaisa's sister, Vera Farmiga, is a regular to the series as she plays Lorraine Warren in the original and its sequel. This will be the second time that a character from the Conjuring films will have its own movie. The doll from the original film, Annabelle, got her spin-off film in 2014 and will have a prequel coming this summer. The Nun will have you praying for Jesus when she comes on July 13th, 2018. Never underestimate the power of the mouse. Disney has announced what is so far its full lineup of feature films that will go all the way up to 2021. The biggest additions that made the news is the new films that are added in 2019, which are officially the most anticipated of that year. These include Star Wars Episode 9 for May 24th, the live-action reboot of The Lion King on July 19th, and Frozen 2 for November 27th. Disney added in also the 5th Indiana Jones film for July 10th, 2020. While there are some additions, the company also did some switches as well, with A Wrinkle in Time, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2, and Gigantic. The Ava DuVernay film will now be on March 2018, while Ralph has been pushed back to November of that year. Gigantic, on the other hand, has to now wait until the end of 2020 to be released. Just because she's called the Material Girl doesn't mean you could use her however you want. Madonna went onto Instagram to show how she was upset with Universal wanting to make an unauthorized biography on the singer called Blonde Ambitions. She stated, "Nobody knows what I know and what I have seen. Only I can tell my story. Anyone else who tries is a charlatan and a fool who's looking for instant gratification without doing the work. This is a disease in our society." Recently, Universal picked up the script by Elise Hollander, which was ranked at #1 on the blacklist last year. The script tells the story of a young Madonna in the 80s seeing her rise of fame before she would go on and record her eponymous debut album in 1983. So far, the only people on board in the project is Michael DeLuca, Brett Ratner, and John Zawarzirny as producers. They got the Math Man back! Jeff Goldblum has been confirmed to make an appearance in Jurassic World 2. He will be among the cast that includes Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, James Cromwell, Justice Smith, and Toby Jones. What makes this occasion special is that Goldblum is coming back to the franchise that he helped started, where he played the mathematician Ian Malcolm in the original Jurassic Park and its sequel, The Lost World Jurassic Park. The director of the first film, Colin Trevorrow, will only return as a writer with Derek Connolly, while J.A. Bayona is now taking the helm of this installment. The first Jurassic World is currently the fourth highest grossing film of all time, with $1.65 billion at the box office, and the sequel is prepared to come out on June 22nd, 2018. It is sadly time we say goodbye to a beloved legend. Director, producer, and writer Jonathan Demme has passed away this week at the age of 73 due to esophagus cancer. He was in his Manhattan apartment with his wife Joanne Howard and his 3 kids. Demme has been regarded as a true powerhouse in the film industry. Began as a director for the films of Roger Corman until he made his breakthrough film with Melvin and Howard. This would then follow with many successful films, including Philadelphia, Rachel Getting Married, and Man from Plains. However, his true magnum opus came in 1991 when he directed The Silence of the Lambs, which managed to grab a total of 5 Oscars, including Best Actor for Anthony Hopkins, Best Actress for Jodie Foster, Best Screenplay, Best Picture, and even Demme earning one himself for Best Director. He will surely be missed.
Sony and the masters of the release dates.
Sony Pictures has announced that they have scheduled their film adaptation of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe at the end of 2019. This is immediately in response to Disney releasing Star Wars Episode 9 in May instead of December like the previous recent installments. However, there is still a downside to this news. Currently, the company is looking for a director to work on the project after it was recently announced that McG, the director of Charlie's Angels and Terminator Salvation, quit the project after considering it since the start of 2016. The writer of the film, David S. Goyer, is still attached to work on the script. He-Man will have the power for December 18th, 2019. Obi-Wan has a long journey in the 100-Acre Woods. Ewan McGregor has signed on with Disney in order to star in Christopher Robin. The film will be about a new take on the classic A.A. Milne stories where Christopher Robin, played by McGregor, is all grown up as a businessman who lost his sense of wonder and imagination, and has suddenly returned to his childhood land where he would reunite with Winnie the Pooh and his friends. The film will be directed by the same guy who did Quantum of Solace and World War Z, Mark Forster, and now brought in Alison Schroeder to write a new version of the script previously done by Alex Ross Perry and Tom McCarthy. Not too long ago, McGregor was recently heard in another live-action remake by Disney as Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast, and Schroeder earned an Oscar nomination for her writing work in Hidden Figures. To quote the man himself in Signs, it's like it was always meant to be. M. Night Shyamalan officially revealed his latest project as Glass, which will be the final installment of the trilogy that he's been developing for years. The first film was released back in 2000 with Unbreakable starring Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and the second was last year's Split. The whole goal of Glass will be how both Unbreakable and Split would connect from one another, and has confirmed that Willis and Jackson from the first film, along with James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy from the second, will return in this feature. The synopsis stated, following the conclusion of Split, Glass finds Dunn pursuing Crumb's superhuman figure of the Beast in a series of escalating encounters, while the shadowy presence of Price emerges as an orchestrator who holds secrets critical to both men. Shyamalan is prepared to present the final piece of his puzzle on January 18th, 2019. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, You can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!